Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to introduce today's presentation on regional international organizations and their influence. The title of our session is Regional International Organizations and the World of Regions. In this talk, we'll explore how these organizations operate within specific geographic areas, shaping regional dynamics. We'll also look at their broader impact on the global landscape and the world order. So, let's dive in and see how these entities influence both their regions and the planet as a whole. Regional organizations play a crucial role in addressing the specific needs and challenges of particular geographic areas or groups of countries. Unlike global organizations, they can offer a more focused and tailored approach, which often makes their efforts more effective. They foster closer cooperation among member states, making it easier to share resources, expertise, and best practices. This collaboration not only helps in solving regional issues, but also promotes regional integration and development, creating a stronger collective identity and resilience. With this lesson, I want you to understand why regional organizations are so important. We'll explore their functions and roles and see how they benefit member states. While global organizations like the United Nations are vital in the international arena, we shouldn't overlook the essential functions that regional organizations serve. As the global society faces an increasing number of complex problems, it becomes even more important for neighboring states or those with similar interests to work together, support each other, and find regional solutions. This collaborative approach enhances stability and progress at both the regional and global levels. Today, we're going to explore how regionalism and regional organizations play a crucial role in managing the needs and challenges faced by their member states. In this lesson, I'll introduce you to two main types of regionalism: state regionalism and non-state regionalism. Let's start with state regionalism. This involves regional state organizations like NATO, OPEC, the Non-Aligned Movement, ASEAN, and the Commonwealth of Nations. These organizations are composed of sovereign states working together to address common interests, security concerns, economic cooperation, and political goals. On the other hand, non-state regionalism focuses on organizations that are not based on governments, but are instead composed of various legitimizers and left-wing groups. Examples include the Red Cross, which provides humanitarian aid, the Rainforest Foundation, working on environmental issues, Religions for Peace, promoting interfaith dialogue, and the Migrant Forum in Asia, advocating for migrant rights. Understanding these two types helps us see how different entities, whether governments or civil society groups, work within regional frameworks to achieve shared objectives. This distinction is key because it highlights the diversity of actors involved in regionalism and how they contribute to global and local stability. When we talk about regionalism, whether it's from a state or non-state perspective, the key idea is that collaboration and integration are absolutely crucial. It's about understanding that no country or even organization can stand alone in today's interconnected world. Working together with neighboring countries and those that share similar goals helps strengthen our position in the global society. Both state and non-state organizations face global challenges, things like economic shifts, security threats, or environmental issues, and they're not exempt from these problems. That's why offering a helping hand through cooperation is so important. It's about building partnerships and fostering mutual support. And as global citizens, we should also recognize the importance of creating strong, lasting friendships between our states and others. These relationships are the foundation of stability and progress. So, emphasizing collaboration and integration isn't just about politics or economics. It's about building a more connected, resilient, and cooperative world. This idea ties back to our overall theme of the importance of unity and shared purpose in global affairs. When we look at the world, we often see a division between the North and the South. This isn't just a geographical distinction. It's a reflection of deeper economic and political disparities. The North generally includes developed countries with advanced economies, while the South encompasses developing nations that are still working to grow and stabilize. This divide has very deep historical roots, dating back centuries, and it continues to influence how countries interact on the global stage. It affects everything from international trade to political alliances and development aid. Understanding this division is crucial because it shapes global dynamics and has significant implications for international cooperation. It also impacts efforts toward regional integration as countries navigate their economic strengths and weaknesses within this framework. Overall, recognizing this divide helps us better understand the challenges and opportunities in creating a more balanced and inclusive world order. Regionalism is essentially the process through which larger geographic areas, sometimes even entire continents, become connected through international institutions and political organizations. It's about creating platforms that enable different states to work together more effectively. A key driver of this process has often been economic globalization, which pushes countries to form regional blocs to better compete and collaborate on the global stage. At its core, regionalism reflects a shared identity and common goals within a specific area. It's not just about geography, but about forming institutions that embody this regional identity and influence activities within that space. These institutions help coordinate policies and foster cooperation among member states. It's important to recognize that there are many regional groups, each with different levels of integration and cooperation. Some are tightly integrated, while others are more loosely connected. Overall, regionalism plays a significant role in shaping international relations, as it offers a structured way for countries to address common challenges and seize shared opportunities. This concept ties into our larger discussion on how global and regional dynamics influence international politics and economic development. Let's talk about non-state regionalism. This involves organizations, NGOs, and associations that work closely with governments and play a role in shaping policies. These groups are often seen as reformist, sharing values, norms, and institutions outside the traditional mainstream systems. This concept, sometimes called new regionalism, is quite different from the traditional state-to-state regionalism we usually think of. It focuses more on identifying and addressing problems in new ways, often through influence rather than formal agreements. Now, there are two main types of regional groups or regionalism. First, we have state regionalism. This is when countries coordinate with each other, often through formal projects promoted by regional states. It's a more traditional approach, centered on official state-to-state cooperation. On the other hand, non-state regionalism involves individuals or organizations that have significant economic, political, or social influence. These entities can impact both national and international levels, but they are not necessarily part of any specific country or government. They operate independently of traditional state structures, yet their influence can be just as powerful. Understanding the difference between state and non-state regionalism helps us see how diverse actors shape regional dynamics today. It's all about recognizing the evolving landscape of regional cooperation and influence, which aligns with our broader theme of how regionalism adapts to new global realities. Regional organizations play a crucial role in fostering cooperation and integration among countries within a specific geographic area. Their main goal is to help countries work together more effectively to address shared challenges. These organizations can be led by the states themselves or can be non-state driven, meaning they might involve other types of actors as well. Each organization has its own unique structure, objectives, and focus areas, depending on the region and the specific issues they aim to tackle. Understanding these organizations is important because they are key players in promoting stability, development, and collaboration within their regions, which ultimately contributes to the overall theme of international cooperation. Let's look at some real-world examples of state regionalism. Organizations like NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, bring together countries in the North Atlantic region to collaborate on security and defense. Then there's OPEC, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, which unites key oil-producing nations to coordinate policies and manage oil markets. And we have ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, a regional group focused on economic growth, stability, and cooperation among Southeast Asian countries. These organizations are made up of sovereign states, meaning independent nations, that come together because they share common interests and face similar challenges. The core idea here is that through formal agreements and cooperation, these countries work toward mutual goals within a specific geographic area. This concept of state regionalism is all about creating these regional organizations and arrangements. They're formal, intergovernmental setups that promote collaboration and integration among member states. And this fits into our overall theme of how nations organize themselves to address shared issues more effectively through regional cooperation. On April 4, 1949, it officially became the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO for short. This was a pivotal moment because it marked the beginning of a system where each member committed to collective defense. In other words, if one member was attacked, all others would come to its aid. This was a major step in ensuring security across the Atlantic region. Now, it's important to understand that the roots of NATO trace back to earlier efforts during the Cold War. For example, back on March 4, 1947, France and the UK signed the Treaty of Dunkirk, which was essentially an alliance and mutual assistance agreement. Then, in 1948, this alliance expanded to include the Benelux countries, Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg, forming what was called the Western Union, or the Brussels Treaty Organization. The main reason behind creating NATO was military protection. It was designed to safeguard the freedom of countries within the North Atlantic against the threat posed by Soviet powers. But it wasn't just about military strength. It was also about unity, political and military unity, because standing together was crucial in fighting for that shared freedom. So, NATO's formation represented both a strategic defense and a collective commitment to defending democratic values in the face of potential aggression. OPEC's headquarters is located in Vienna, Austria, which is quite central for its member countries. The main goals of OPEC are to control oil prices and ensure their stability. This is really crucial because stable prices benefit everyone involved: petroleum producers, investors, and consumers alike. For producers, it means maintaining predictable revenues. For investors, it ensures a fair return on their investments. And for consuming nations, it means a reliable and economical supply of petroleum. The organization was established primarily to protect petroleum resources, which was especially important back in 1960 when many countries wanted more control over their exports. By forming OPEC, these countries aimed to increase their returns from exports and strengthen their influence over trading partners. Essentially, it was about asserting their power in the global oil market. Most of the founding members were major oil exporting nations, and their collective goal was to coordinate policies to secure their interests. So, in a way, OPEC was about safeguarding resources, optimizing profits, and gaining more control in international trade. This context ties into the larger picture of how major oil-producing nations work together to shape global energy markets. Let's take a closer look at the Non-Aligned Movement, or NAM. Unlike many international organizations, NAM doesn't align itself with any particular power blocks. Instead, it actively participates in global affairs to promote key principles like peace, international cooperation, human rights, and respect for national sovereignty. It also advocates for racial and national equality, non-intervention, and peaceful conflict resolution. The headquarters of NAM is located in central Jakarta, Indonesia, which is quite fitting given Indonesia's own history of independence and non-alignment. Now, NAM was established mainly to protect its member states from the pressures of superpower politics during the Cold War era. It officially came into being in 1961 in Belgrade, Yugoslavia, starting with 25 member countries. The movement isn't just a historical relic, it continues to be active today. It holds a summit every 3 years, with the 16th summit taking place in Tehran in 2012 and the 17th in Venezuela in 2016. In fact, NAM is considered the second largest global organization after the United Nations. It represents over half of the world's population, about 55%, and it governs through the international policies of its sovereign member states, emphasizing independence and cooperation rather than dominance. This movement's core theme of sovereignty and peaceful coexistence really ties into the broader message of our presentation, showing how nations can collaborate and stand strong while maintaining their independence. Today, I want to talk about the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN for short. It was established on August 8, 1967, in Bangkok, Thailand, by 5 founding countries: Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. These nations came together with a common goal of fostering cooperation and stability in the region. Over time, more countries joined ASEAN to strengthen regional ties. Brunei Darussalam became a member on January 8, 1984, followed by Vietnam in 1995, then Laos and Myanmar in 1997, and finally Cambodia in 1999. The main purpose of ASEAN was to promote political and economic collaboration while ensuring regional stability. Today, ASEAN's focus has expanded to include political security, economic security, and socio-cultural integration. All of these efforts are aimed at creating a more unified and resilient Southeast Asia, which ties directly into our overall theme of regional cooperation and stability. Now, let's take a closer look at the structure of the Commonwealth of Nations. Currently, 15 members have the British monarch as their head of state, including countries like New Zealand. Then, there are 5 countries that have their own monarch, and the remaining 36 are republics. Despite these differences in governance, the Commonwealth countries often see themselves as part of a larger family, sharing a sense of kinship and unity. This is why they are frequently described as a family of nations. The Commonwealth works together to promote peace and prosperity across its member states. This includes efforts like supporting small business development, helping with legislation, monitoring elections, and advancing human rights. These initiatives highlight the shared commitment to bettering lives and fostering stability. The Commonwealth of Nations was officially formed in 1949. Its main goal was to maintain a connection among countries that once belonged to the British Empire, while also emphasizing the idea that all members are free and equal. Today, the Commonwealth spans the globe, with a combined population of around 2.5 billion people, roughly a third of the world's population. What's particularly remarkable is the diversity within this group. The Commonwealth includes some of the largest nations, as well as some of the smallest. It also encompasses countries that are among the wealthiest and those that are still developing. This diversity underscores the importance of unity and shared values in this global network. Now, let's look at some key examples of non-state regionalism in action. First, we have Religions for Peace. This is a global network of religious and spiritual communities committed to transforming conflicts, promoting peace, and advancing human development. What's important here is that it operates independently of any government, representing a form of non-state regionalism that crosses national borders. It shows how non-governmental organizations can play a vital role in fostering peace on a worldwide scale. Next, the Rainforest Foundation. This organization works closely with indigenous communities to protect the world's rainforests. It's a nonprofit that operates across multiple countries and regions, addressing environmental and social issues beyond any single nation's borders. This exemplifies how non-state actors can effectively collaborate across regions to tackle global environmental challenges. Finally, we have the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement. This is a well-known global humanitarian network that provides aid and protection during disasters, conflicts, and health emergencies. What's remarkable is that it operates independently of governments, emphasizing its neutrality and universal mission. It's one of the most prominent examples of non-state regionalism, demonstrating how voluntary organizations can have a broad, impactful reach. Overall, these examples highlight how non-state actors are crucial in addressing complex global issues, often bridging gaps where governments may not reach. They embody the broader theme of how regionalism and cooperation extend beyond state boundaries to promote peace, environmental sustainability, and humanitarian aid worldwide. The Red Cross is truly a global presence, operating in nearly every country around the world. It relies on the dedication of over 17 million volunteers and staff members who work tirelessly to prevent and alleviate human suffering, whether it's during times of peace, war, or natural disasters. This organization has a long history, having been founded back in 1863, and it's guided by a set of core principles that are essential to its work. These principles include humanity, which drives the organization to help those in need; impartiality, ensuring aid is given without bias; neutrality, to maintain trust in conflict zones; independence, so it can operate without political influence; voluntary service, highlighting the selfless nature of its volunteers; unity, which means the Red Cross exists in every community; and universality, reflecting its global reach. Overall, the Red Cross is a key player in humanitarian efforts worldwide, providing emergency assistance, disaster relief, and ongoing community health and support services. It's a shining example of what collective compassion and commitment can achieve on a global scale. The Red Cross insignia, which features a red cross on a white background, was intentionally chosen to be the opposite of the Swiss flag, symbolizing neutrality and impartiality. Over time, the organization has grown significantly and now provides vital medical care and humanitarian aid worldwide. Its core principles are neutrality and impartiality, especially during times of war and disaster. Now, let's go back to 1859, when Swiss merchant Jean Henry Dunant witnessed a truly heartbreaking scene after a fierce battle between Imperial Austria and the Franco-Sardinian coalition in Solferino, Italy. He saw around 40,000 soldiers who were either dead or severely wounded, many without access to proper medical care. This powerful experience inspired Dunant to take action. He founded the International Committee for Relief to the Wounded, which later became known as the International Committee of the Red Cross. His call to develop national relief organizations was a pivotal moment, leading to the ratification of the First Geneva Convention in 1864, establishing important rules for the humane treatment of wounded soldiers. All of this ties into our overall theme of humanitarian principles, showing how individual compassion and global cooperation can bring about meaningful change in times of crisis. Today, I want to highlight the incredible work of the Rainforest Foundation, which is actually the largest NGO dedicated to rights-based forest protection worldwide. The foundation is made up of 3 national organizations based in Norway, the United Kingdom, and the United States, along with the Rainforest Fund. The fund's role is to support these national groups and also to fund specific projects on the ground. What's important to note is that all 4 entities share the same mission, vision, and core values, which keeps their efforts unified and focused. Now, the foundation was started back in 1988 by Sting and Trudy Styler. In those early years, their main focus was on fighting to protect the traditional lands and cultures of Brazil's indigenous Kayapo people. This effort led to a landmark achievement in 1993, when they successfully helped secure legal recognition and protection for the Menkrignoti territory, which spans over 4,914,000 hectares, an enormous area of the Kayapo's ancestral lands. From that initial success, the foundation didn't stop there. Starting in 1994, they expanded their approach to include similar initiatives across other parts of Brazil and South America. Then, from 1996 onwards, they broadened their scope even further, extending operations into rainforest regions of Africa and Indonesia. This expansion reflects their commitment to protecting rainforests and indigenous rights on a truly global scale. Throughout this journey, the foundation has demonstrated a powerful combination of advocacy, legal work, and community support, really embodying a rights-based approach to forest protection. This story underscores how strategic, sustained efforts can lead to significant, lasting change for indigenous communities and their environments worldwide. Religions for Peace stands out because of its global leadership and the strength of its interfaith women's and youth networks, as well as its interreligious councils. These groups are truly change agents, acting at local, national, and regional levels to make a difference. They provide bold, innovative solutions to some of the world's toughest problems, from discrimination and violence to environmental challenges. What's remarkable is that Religions for Peace is more than just an organization. It's been a movement for 50 years, actively reshaping the world and challenging the status quo. All the world's major religions come together under the banner of Religions for Peace, working to ensure that everyone can live in harmony, peace, and prosperity. They recognize the serious issues facing our planet today and believe that solutions need to be innovative, inclusive, and ecumenical. By harnessing the collective power and resources of diverse religious traditions, and through more than 90 national and 6 regional interreligious councils, called IRCs, they unite in a shared spiritual commitment. Their goal is to find answers that leave no one behind, truly embodying a spirit of unity and shared purpose. MFA, or the Migrant Forum in Asia, acts as a key facilitator and regional hub for communication and coordination among its member organizations and advocates. It plays a crucial role in addressing a wide range of issues faced by migrant workers, such as discriminatory laws and policies, violence against women migrants, and unjust living conditions. Additionally, MFA works to tackle unemployment in the home countries of migrants and other challenges that directly impact their well-being. At its core, MFA is guided by a powerful vision of creating an alternative world system, one rooted in respect for human rights and dignity, social justice, and gender equity. This vision drives its efforts to promote a fair and just environment for all migrant workers across Asia. MFA's origins date back to 1990, when it was conceived during a meeting of migrant workers' advocates in Hong Kong. It officially organized in 1994 at a forum held in Taiwan, with the primary goal of protecting and promoting the rights and welfare of migrant workers in the region. Today, MFA is a vibrant regional network composed of NGOs, associations, trade unions, and individual advocates, all committed to advocating for migrant workers' rights. However, operating as a regional international organization comes with its own set of challenges. It requires navigating complex political landscapes, diverse legal systems, and varying cultural contexts across countries. Despite these hurdles, MFA remains focused on its mission to empower migrant workers and ensure their voices are heard. Its work highlights the importance of regional solidarity and cooperation in tackling these shared challenges. So, as we continue exploring these issues, remember that MFA's role is vital in fostering collaboration and advancing human rights for migrant workers throughout Asia. At the regional level, we see that countries have made significant efforts to improve key areas like education, literacy, health, and access to opportunities. These efforts have led to tangible progress, such as increased life expectancy and falling fertility rates. Additionally, new regional initiatives, like establishing electricity grids and gas pipelines between countries, have proven to be quite effective. However, despite these successes, there are still major challenges we need to address. For example, issues like lack of peace and security, poverty, and unemployment continue to hinder development. We also face problems related to natural resource management, unsustainable consumption and production patterns, and a shortage of research and appropriate technologies. Moreover, civil society's capacity to actively participate in sustainable development remains limited. When we look at regionalism, both state-led and non-state initiatives face their own hurdles. Organizations under state regionalism, even if they were created for specific reasons, need to continually adapt to a rapidly changing world. Their scope has expanded, requiring them to tackle a broader range of issues and coordinate across larger areas. In summary, while regional efforts have brought progress, They also highlight the complex challenges that require ongoing adaptation and cooperation. This is crucial if we want to achieve sustainable development across the region and beyond. Let's take a moment to consider the challenges faced by non-state organizations today. One of the biggest hurdles is financial in nature. Unlike governments, these organizations don't typically rely on support from states, which makes funding many of their programs quite difficult. Without dependable financial backing, pursuing certain initiatives becomes a real challenge. Another significant issue is the lack of support and coordination from states themselves. Many of these organizations aim to engage with citizens across different nations, but they often face rejection or obstacles from governments. This lack of cooperation can severely limit their ability to operate effectively and implement their programs. These challenges have a tangible impact on the work of non-state organizations, affecting their advocacy efforts and overall programs. It's also important to recognize that interregional integration, meaning the coordination of policies, positions, and approaches across different regions, plays a crucial role in advancing sustainable development. Addressing complex issues like climate change, ozone depletion, ecosystems, or even poverty and peace cannot be done within a single political region alone. These problems are interconnected and require a collaborative, comprehensive approach that crosses borders. In essence, the collaboration among regions enhances our ability to tackle global challenges effectively and aligns with the broader goal of sustainable development for all. It's important to remember that while state organizations play a crucial role, they can't solve all the problems and dilemmas we face in the world today. That's where non-state organizations come into play. These organizations aren't primarily driven by business interests. Instead, they focus on proposing and generating solutions for issues that might be too complex or delicate for governments to handle alone. Now, when we consider regional organizations, their importance becomes even more evident. They are just as vital as global international organizations because they can tailor their approaches to the specific needs and challenges of their member states. This localized focus allows for more effective and relevant solutions. Think about it. Our relationships and cooperation with neighboring countries are just as vital as our connections with distant nations. The bonds we share with our neighbors often give us a clearer understanding of the issues we face because they experience similar conditions firsthand. Collaboration among countries with similar goals isn't just beneficial, it's essential. When countries work together, they can better manage and create solutions for common problems, leveraging their shared experiences and resources. So, in conclusion, regional organizations hold immense significance. They complement global efforts and ensure that the unique needs of local and regional contexts are addressed effectively. In a world where friendships and cooperation among nations are as vital as basic needs like food, fostering these regional partnerships is crucial for overall stability and progress.